On paper, the 765 Spider seems like a predictable enough kind of car from McLaren. It's a 765 coupe but with the same electric roof from the 720S Spider. So it weighs a bit more, goes a bit less mentally fast, and although it's a lovely enough thing to drive around in with its carbon fibre hood down on a sunny day in Spain, it isn't as sharp or as entertaining as the coupe where it matters. Correct? No, not correct at all. Because in truth, McLaren has probably gone way further than it needed to with the 765 Spider, to a point where it's more than just a 765 without a roof. Dynamically and visually, the Spider has a personality all of its own, one that's more rounded than the coupes, and which could have produced an even better car overall. We drove it on the track at Navarra and on the roads that surround it in northern Spain to find out why and how. The Spider's twin-turbo 4-litre V8 engine is exactly the same as the coupes and develops a whopping 755 bhp at 7,500 revs and 590 pounds-feet of torque at 5,900 revs. That is enough to fire the 1,388 kilogram Spider to 62 miles an hour in just 2.7 seconds. It's also enough to fire it to 124 miles an hour or 200 kilometers per hour in a mildly terrifying 7.2 seconds. Top speed is 205 miles an hour, but who cares? What does make a difference is the new titanium exhaust, which not only allows the V8 to breathe a bit better at the top, but also provides it with a much naughtier voice. In a car like this, that is significant. The tyres are Pirelli Trofeo R's, and the brakes feature carbon ceramic discs as standard, just like the coupe. What's different in the Spider is the fine-tuning of the dampers, the gearbox, the rear wing development, the steering, you name it. McLaren has tweaked it for the Spider, and the result, as you can see, is one heck of a good car.
On a track like this, it's not the way it goes in a straight line that blows your mind. It's the way it stops and the balance it has mid-corner. I mean, this is a fifth gear, off camber, slightly downhill right-hand corner, and it's just planted. The gearbox works really well too. They've made these dual clutch gearboxes better and better at McLaren, and this is the best of the lot in a regular-ish road car. The thing is, there's a lot of centre in this, a lot of centre. It feels it. Lovely steering as well. I do like the way McLaren do this steering. It's light, it's super accurate, but there is feel. So you know absolutely what's going on at the front tyres at all times in this thing. So a bit of throttle, a bit of oversteer. Not massive amounts of oversteer, because I've got the stability control system set to dynamic. I haven't got everything switched off. This is not a car that you jump into and go, right, reach for the buttons and turn everything off. It's got this really clever variable traction control and sort of drift control, which sounds like a gimmick, but it's not a gimmick in this thing. It really does allow you to dial yourself into the car and the circuit really nicely in a way that you can't just by having something that's either sport on or off. The subtlety, the nuances of the way you can play with how much throttle it gives you and allows you through each corner, it's just brilliant. It really is. It's kind of like having a huge great team of mechanics in the garage there for your disposal to help you set the car up, except you just put it down here. I mean, that is some stopping power. It really is. It also feels like you could do this thing all day in it and it wouldn't break. It comes on Trofeo R tyres as standard. You can ask them to put a regular set of P0s on it if you want, and they will, and you should if you live in the UK and you want to drive your 765 Spider in the winter, without question. Ooh, tiny little bit of TC just comes in very gently, very subtly through there. Oh, some quite big bumps right at the end of the. Maybe I need to concentrate on what I'm doing a bit more. But this thing's just so friendly. Okay, calm down a bit. Try and talk about exactly how this car feels mid-corner, particularly through this left-hander up here. You turn in and it's slightly uphill, which is great because it allows you to balance. The inside curve is nice and smooth, but I'm going through here in fifth gear, and then coming down to second, up to here. And you can just float it through that corner in a way that, well, it's just rude. It really is rude. It's sort of one of those things that you think, is that actually allowed, is that physically able to do that? Pretty extraordinary car, this. Very quick as well. But I hope you can tell that it's really not stressful to do this kind of thing in. As long as you know roughly what you're doing, I think anyone could jump in this thing and have a right ball in it, and more to the point, go very, very quickly in it.
So that's what the 765 Spider is like to drive on a track. In a word, brilliant. But what's it like to drive on the road, and does it get better or worse when you drop the hood and give it some beans?
Okay, this is how much traction the 765 Spider has got. I've got the drift mode turned up to quite a fruity setting. Second gear, third. It's potty. It's absolutely potty how fast this car feels. But everything it does matches that potency. On the track, you end up thinking, cool, I could do with a little bit more poke. On the road, that moment never really arrives. Instead, you end up really appreciating how much sharper the steering is than a 720S Spider, how much more powerful the brakes feel, how much quicker the gearbox responds, how much closer the gear ratios are, and also the noise. The noise is a big factor in this thing. Another road car going faster than this car over this road. I really can't. It's insane. Crikey Moses. That was absolutely everything in second gear out of an uphill hairpin, and it sticks. What a vehicle. I think if anything it's more impressive on the road than it is on the track, this car, because it rides really beautifully. It feels twice as quick on the road than it does on the track. I think it looks $1,000,000 as well. It looks really nice and kind of menacing, but also deeply. It's a sexy car, this. Sounds great. What's wrong with it? What is wrong with the 765 Spider? It's quite expensive. That's it.
It really is quite some machine, is the 765 Spider. More spectacular even than the coupe in many ways, because it is that much more rounded in its appeal, which is saying something. No question, McLaren Automotive has come a very long way in the last 11 years, and they say the best is yet to come.